Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? So we have some earnings today. We have Nvidia and CRM. Nvidia and CRM. So we're gonna be on the lookout if we see any outflow. At the moment, there's not anything big happening. We have this $5 million on Nvidia. $5 million on Nvidia. Let me search here. What's the Nvidia? We have the magnet and the coil wall on the 230. That's a huge magnet we have to the. We just had this Nvidia flow. Give me a second, let me check something. XPX is not moving out at all. Nvidia and XPX and SPY are not moving. We're at 0% move on the day. Just absurd. I don't think it's gonna move, in my opinion. I don't think we're gonna move much. We're at 0.06% on XPX. We're all waiting on Nvidia's earnings. Nvidia is red on the day, 0.37%, 0.21% now, 0.40%. We have that. If we use the gamma exposure for the 2 days, we have the 230 call wall and the magnet. We just had this 215 October 16 transaction with $5 million on the ask, but the open interest is high. So you have to be careful with that because the open interest is high. This is not necessarily a new position. Esto no significa una posición nueva porque es un open interest alto, el volumen no sobrepasa el open interest, the volume doesn't surpass the open interest, but we have the execution price being hit at the ask. Not near the ask or above ask, but at the ask. So some bulls appearing here. I think the market's gonna be pretty stable overall today. Nothing fancy. Nothing fancy at the moment. Today is not the best day to trade as yesterday. I want every one of you guys to know that when we have such important earnings, like we had Micron in the beginning of this earnings season, and we had Nvidia. Right now, if we have right in the middle of the week, we have these kind of earnings. The first 3 days, which are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, the market's gonna be pretty stable because they don't want to anticipate the move at all. So that's what we have at the moment. We have a pretty stable market. Look at that. We're barely moving at all. We have the magnet just above the price we're at the moment. We have the call at 7,700. There's not any movement. We have a positive DEX, so it's gonna be more stable. And let's see the SPY, for example. The SPY, we have the same kind of movement. We have the magnet just below us, $1 below, negative 1.8 billion in NetX. So it's a little bit volatile. It's not the same as XPX. Check the call for August 28th. What was it, 230 or was it 240? Let's see. I don't know why I have it. Where's my mouse at? Let me zoom on this. Let me change the color so you guys can see better. These guys they entered yesterday. These are multi-legs. You have to be very careful with that because these are multi-legs. Nvidia, they entered yesterday. So we go to session date yesterday. We ignore these conditions. And they enter on the 230 calls, 1229. I'm looking at this because this is a multi-leg. Now I have it too much zoom in. That's better for me. 230, 230. But I don't see the other leg, to be honest. And we have the same. Weird. They're banging those 230s for August 28, but that contract is just too close. Look at that kind of delta. Looks like a hedge. Well, with Nvidia, you can go anywhere, to be honest. So it's not necessarily a hedge. But the delta is so low because we only have 2 days expiration. We have August 28 to 30 call. There was a lot of volume. There was a lot of volume on that day. And the volume stood up to today. Let me check. Yeah, we have the 194,000 open interest. Yeah, it's that we had that volume yesterday. 185,000 was almost all executed. That's kind of a mixed execution, but basically almost all was executed at the same price, like 20 cents difference. I'm looking at this, 20 cents difference. Well, coincidentally, that's what they are doing. So if you search for Nvidia, we have all that kind of money because for August 28th, it's the same contract, the same strike price. We have $129 million sitting on those 230 calls because of that call. That's that set of calls. We have 194,000 open interest. Nvidia has dropped a lot, to be honest. It has broken a record. Well, I think it didn't broke a record, but it matched it of dropping 9 consecutive days. It didn't drop much, but it dropped for 9 consecutive days. if I will buy it for earnings, there isn't something clear enough on that. When we search the option chain, we search the option chain. Let's see if I remember correctly. I think it was August 31. They bought the 240 calls at some point. No, it was September 4th. I think it was September 4th. The 240 calls. They bought the 240 calls at some point. Yeah, what's this one? September 4th. We have 16,000. 16,000. Let's see, view contract. They're at 82 cents. This contract isn't worth it at the moment. We have the delta of 0.1. That's for next Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. Voila. There's a lot of, if we see the asset premium sentiment today, we don't see it as green, but if you go to, for example, 1 month, you will see it's $14.6 billion versus $6.8 billion. But you have to look at the calls executed at the bid plus the calls executed at the ask. You have to understand, what does this mean? Executed at the bid, it could mean they're exiting positions or they're selling premium on the calls. Executed at the ask is that they're entering usually. So we have that for both sides. We have puts executed at the ask and puts executed at the bid. But the main thing here is that we have 68% in calls. They're still in the October 16 180 call. They're still in. You can see 106,000 open interest, 378 million. This is a much safer contract, a much safer contract. You can see they bought it here. Search. They bought it here, $242 million, $140 million, $65 million. They have bought it 3 times already, July 22, and August 5. You can see this is a multi-leg, but this was a rollover from September 18, 190 call. So this is the main contract in Nvidia, the contract worth watching, the 180 call. If we see any sudden movement before the closing bell on this contract, you have to be very careful. I think this is the most bullish contract on Nvidia at the moment being open, but look at the delta and look at the price. This is a 3.5K dollars contract with a 0.87 delta because we're already at $32 in the money. So it only has $3 of extrinsic value. It has $32 of intrinsic value. Why? Because you sum 180 plus 32, you have 212. So the $3 remaining are extrinsic value, which are the time value. That's why we have such a high delta. For every move, the stock goes up or down, we move $87 on the option price. So we are correlated 87% to the stock price. I have like some kind of allergy or something. Let's see. $240 is the other, like, oh, for the 230. Intel January 15, 27. What are you looking at here? Net premium is negative. There's nothing big going on. Like we have the 5.4 open interest, but there's nothing huge going on here, to be honest, worth looking at. You can see these are at the bid. We don't exactly know what they're doing because we have the open interest higher than the volume, so there isn't nothing clear on this one. And we have the net premium negative on the 1 month. If we go to the 5 days, we still have negative $1 million. So this contract isn't worth looking at. Maybe you can enter if you want to go to the upside with Intel in the next months, but that there isn't a way on that contract that it's worth looking at. Interesting. They're selling a call. How much is CrowdStrike today? What is CRM doing? 204. She has earnings. Salesforce has earnings after hours with Nvidia. Best flow of the day, to be honest, I think is the Nvidia 215 call. And I don't see it right now. I think it's this one. We saw the $5 million movement. And it's back where it started. It was at 11.80. Now it's at 11.55. XPX is not moving at all, so I don't recommend trading. Well, we are $9 to the upside, but that isn't much. You can search it here. Not a positive gags. We're above the magnet, Magnet is at 680. We're at 686. Cold one is at 7,700. We're above the magnet. I usually don't like that, but because price tends to gravitate to the magnet, that doesn't mean I will always do, but usually it does. So I haven't seen the magnet move today. We have been still at 7,680, and we're above that. If you don't have to trade, don't trade. There isn't a clear movement. XPX is 7,700. Well, if you're seeing the call wall, you maybe have that theory, but it's not clear as a day. Markets dead. The highest moving stock I'm watching at the moment is BE. Imagine that. That's the only in my list. I only have two. That's my highest gainer on the day, 2.37%. That's very low. SPY has just moved 0.12 cents percentage. That's not even a dollar move on the day. Nvidia right now is negative $1. Hasn't been much movement on that. 140 call. August 14. They paid $6, $1.3 million. It's so far away. Both in days and in money. That's $100 away. So those $6 are completely extrinsic value. Those are time based because we're $100 difference between the asset price and the strike price. We're at 41 basically, and that's 140. That's a $99 move he has to do by January 21, 2028. I expect some kind of action on Iran today. It means a flow because we have earnings tomorrow after hours, and the same thing on Marvell. Marvell, we have seen some kind of flow and some kind of revival. Marvell has gone to 242. We went all the way to 180 in the past weeks. On the Leopold downturn or Leopold's dip, if you wanna dip. I said dip. Don't worry, guys. On the dip, but I haven't seen crazy out of the money flows on this one. Maybe these 240 calls that I saw the other day, 240 calls for September 11. I think these guys are in, but this one is already in the money. These guys are already making money on that kind of transaction, I think. He paid $21. No, he's losing money. When did he pay that? When was he stuck at? Oh, 251. Yeah, obviously he's gonna lose money. Well, he's losing money. That's one of the biggest calls I have seen on Marvell recently. The September 11 one for the 240s. We also saw these 251 for September 4th. And they're still in. They still have the open interest. This person paid $2 million on August 7, $2 million. Well, $2.1 million. Because this transaction got canceled. How do I know that? Look at the size, look at the price, and look at this land and then cancel. If you hover above it, cancel a previously reported trade. This transaction, because the size and the premium is the same thing, it got canceled. So this one was the one that went through the late report, which was 2 contracts less. So that's why we had only 2,000 in volume, because these 2 got canceled out. Those are the only 2 contracts I have seen on Marvell in the past weeks. The 250 for September 4th and the 240 for September 11th. What is this? Oh, that's Blackstone, yeah. Very short in Blackstone? What do you mean miss that? They're short in Blackstone? So you're telling me they're shorting $12 in the money with $46.5 million. It didn't hit exact. I don't like the spread because we have a $1.60 spread. The spread, by the way, is 16.20. which is the bid, and 17.80, which is the ask. It's closer to the ask, so that's why we only have one bar. It's 25 cents less. But we have $46 million with a 0.63 delta, which is negative because it's a put. But the transaction is in the money, 86 plus days, basically at the ask. Size and volume matches exactly. The whole asset premium sentiment is negative because of this transaction. And the open interest is nowhere to be seen. It's 19. Implied volatility is very low. I think the only bad thing about this flow is the execution price. But why would they short Blackstone today? Let's go see the tape. Let's go see the option chain. Let's do a full. I'm gonna go to November so you guys can see exactly how it looks. Look at that. Let's look at the open interest. This is gonna be way easier, by the way, with the update that's gonna launch in a month or so. So you guys can even see a greater way to spot these transactions in the option chain with something we're gonna have some kind of map. I cannot explain completely because it will spoil the surprise. It's gonna be way easier. But just look at this. With the option chain, is also way easier compared to other platforms. The open interest is very, very, very low in all kind of these contracts. Very, 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 very low. Let's go to January. I haven't seen an open interest larger than 5K. These are the largest ones. 3.2K, 4.1K here on the 140. And here we have the open interest being larger. On the put side, the open interests are larger on the put side. We have to understand. But if we go again to November and we compare, the open interest isn't there and there's no volume at all today. And then we see 26.5K volume. 26.5K volume. On a Blackstone in the money, $12. And it's basically the call wall. Is the largest one here with the open interest and very odd flow. Extremely odd flow. This reminds me of the 630 SMH put we saw last Monday. There isn't any more huge open interest. So the chain is completely empty. This is obviously a weekly and not a very much traded stock. I didn't wrote that correctly. Blackstone. There isn't didn't pop up any news fast, so there isn't something big happening. And let's search here. Their next earnings are in 50 days. Yeah, it's October 22. So there isn't an earnings catalyst for this trade to happen. Very, very, very odd flow. The thing I don't like is that it's so obviously put in there. Like I think everyone would spot this. Such a huge flow. Wow. I'm so intrigued. Look at this. This is a mixed premium, mixed execution price. It will say, oh, they're shorting Google. Maybe, but this is a 50-50 because I see all this kind of mixed execution price. I don't think they're shorting Google. I think they're getting out. Look at the open interest. They're getting out of those puts. Why is my is Meta red on the day? Wow, Meta was green on the day and now it's red. Also, everyone here, we have some important news for you guys. We have the MarketSnack Academy. Learn MarketSnack. You can just search for Learn MarketSnack. I can go copy and paste it here. Learn MarketSnack. Here you can browse all courses. You will have the flow feed, watch list, contract, alerts, chain, and gamma exposure. Here you will have all different kind of classes. Here you have 5 videos, 8 videos, 10 videos, and you can just click it. I will get you through on MarketSnack. If you have any doubts on that, if you go click, everything here is clickable. If you open app, it will take you directly to the app if you have the platform. But if you don't have the platform, we now have the start your 7-day free trial. New to MarketSnack, you can start your 7-day free trial where you can use the MarketSnack Academy with the free trial and you can enter the world of MarketSnack. It's just intelligence made visible. So don't be shy. Go ahead. Go to learn.marketsnack.com. Start your free trial if you don't have an account. If you have an account, start the courses. If you don't want, if you don't understand any kind of any part of the platform. If you have any questions, ping me on the Discord. I will gladly answer them. So let's go ahead. Let's see XPX what it's doing. Meta is red on the day. Nvidia is red on the day. Also, it's $2 negative. Look at that. I didn't trade it because today is not a trading day. Today is not a trading day. You can get really. We were above the magnet. We were at 786, and the magnet was below. What happened? We went directly to the magnet, and we are below the magnet at 70 and 76. We're on a positive GAX, yes, but it's kind of low, to be honest. $2.2 billion now. So we drop. Now the market is negative $2. We haven't moved. Market is not moving at all. So if you're trading 0 DTE on a day like this, you're getting crushed. What do you think about IOND? You know, I haven't analyzed this stock. I know what it is, but I haven't analyzed much, so I don't want to give an erroneous opinion just by looking at it. But the option chain, what I've seen about this stock is that the option chain is very, very low. And I don't like trading stocks with almost no volume. I want volume because with volume you can get out whenever you want. And this is a stock with no volume on the options. So this kind of stocks you have to be very careful because it can go way up, way down, and It can go $5 to the upside, and the spread on the options is very, very low because there isn't very much volume. So be very careful. It's a $71 stock, so that's not a penny stock. It can move. My filters are here again. I deleted multi-leg. Is the you can see snacker. Multi-legs are off. In single leg, I delete MFSL, TESL, and then on other I have only intermarket sweep order. I don't know why I have premium on 0, but it's 100K, and premium is descending. You can click it here. For example, you can click premium on that or premium down. So descending means we have the highest to the lowest. That's basically what descending means. What percent do you want the nuggets to consider getting into a trade? That's a good question. I like it above negative 5 billion, negative 6 billion, but because you saw how the $2 billion just got crushed. That's so low. It got crushed almost instantly. So, and also negative 414 million, it get crushed almost instantly. It can go swing either way. So you want a negative 5-6 billion gags or positive 5-6 billion gags, which can also get crushed. We were at 10 billion at 10:45 a.m. 9:45 a.m. My bad, Eastern time. Look how the call will move to the 680 now. I'm really intrigued about the Blackstone thingy we just saw. And the calls on Nvidia are suffering. These calls are suffering at the moment. They're down 1065. $26, $12, $18. Nvidia, December 18, 2026, 165 put. We have 10,000 in open interest, and then we have 11,900 in volume, 935. This is very, you will assume this is the same as the open interest, but I have another theory. I think it's not. Why? Look at this. I want you guys to understand and pay attention. When I end this video, rewind and go back. Obviously, we don't exactly know if it's the same person, but you see this God candle. I call it God candle because it's so big compared to all the other ones, but you can say whatever you want on that. You can see we have this volume enter here. We have this volume, which is 10.9K at the bid, but there never was a candle the same size as this one. And we just saw this one on this because you can see how the open interest has been built slowly but steady to the upside on the 165 puts, slowly but steady. slowly but steady. I don't think this is the same person that's, I don't think they're getting out on this open interest. I think this is someone selling premium. Why? Because they're getting out of what? Of the contracts that have been built over time. Do you think an institution is building this kind of contracts over time? Like a 250, 700? It can be done. Yeah, it can be done. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's not the norm. An institution building size like this. So for me, they're selling premium on this one. They're selling premium on the 9:43 a.m. contracts, 9,998. I don't like the execution price very much because we're almost right in the middle. But I don't think this was a buy to open. I think this was a sell to open. 10,000 contracts. Well, 9,998. 4 contracts shy. And we're still dropping. We're at 69. We're at 69. Now the put wall is above the magnet, which is interesting enough. Which is interesting enough. We're at 10:30 a.m. The market's moving. Look at how the magnet is moving from 650 to 680. But the day isn't supporting the move. Now we're at a negative 1.5 billion gax. There hasn't been any much. There hasn't been any much on the institutional flow tape. We haven't seen $1 million yet. This is rising, but we're still below the negative $5 billion mark. We're at 68.76. The magnet is flipping, so be careful. Don't assume that it's going to the 650. It's flipping between 680 and 650. If we go like to 69 or 70, it's gonna flip to 680. So you have to be very careful here. We have the put one, the 3.1 billion, but we have first the 1.9 billion in resistance, in support. So for it to reach the magnet, it has to break those 2 red bars, which are a pretty big support zone for the XPX. What is Google doing? I think Google's dropping. Yeah, 338. Google is not behaving. Not behaving at all. 338. This was at 347 2 days ago. Now it's at 338. So, any more questions? Any more questions? Go check the learn.marketsnack.com. If you have any more questions, tag me on the Discord. Today, if you don't see something very obvious, don't trade. It's a very bad day to trade because we're waiting for Nvidia earnings. Market's not gonna move very much. So if you're trading 0 DTEs, you can get stuck. So I think this is gonna be. I'm not gonna chase anything. I'm still on Google. If Google drops even more from here to 330, 332, I may add another contract. But we're still for November. We're still in the money. That's gonna be a slow trade. Looks like we were up almost $400 2 days ago. We were up more than 10%. We didn't took it. I thought we were going to 350, but it didn't happen. That's trading, and that's life. So earnings. That's a pretty good question because I don't know why I put live because I don't know if it's gonna be 4:30 Eastern time. Yeah, gonna be between 4:20 and 4:30 p.m. Eastern time because market closes at 4. So we will have they're gonna drop anywhere from 4:20 to 4:30, and then we have the conference call at 5 p.m. on Nvidia. So if you see there may be a fake out at 4, but don't worry, the real earnings come out at 4:20, 4:30. So any more questions? I think that's everything for today. For those that don't have MarketSnack, go go ahead and take the free trial. Go learn at MarketSnack. Go revisit this video or any other video that I have on this account. Remember that if you are on the Discord, you are a member. I think today we have all members on the Discord. We have a class today at 6:15 p.m. Eastern time. I have another class review of the day. We're gonna talk about Nvidia, what happened, what do we saw, what did the flow speak, whatever, because that's after hours, so we know what already happened on Nvidia. That's 6:15 p.m. Eastern time on the Discord. I always post the link like at 5 p.m., 4:30 p.m. So I'll usually tag everyone so you guys can see it. Do you see a pullback in the market? Well, to be honest, we're already on a pullback. We were at 7,817. That was the top on the XPX, and we're already at 7,670. We're already on the pullback zone. Maybe it can pull back even more to 7,500, but that's just a maybe. We don't exactly know. The flows in the last 2 weeks have been negative, but we have still seen calls on a very negative market. And maybe Nvidia can flip this around. The expected move today is historically quite low. I think we're at 5%. Expected move on Nvidia in the after hours earnings. So 5% is like $10. It can move up or down. But Nvidia is Nvidia. A very strong earning can move the stock $20, $15, $25. You call. You can say whatever you want. We don't exactly know. That's the magic of earnings. You can And Nvidia, being the largest company in the world, has to bring pretty good earnings for it to break to the upside. We don't need just a bid on Nvidia. We need a bid by a large margin and an extraordinary guidance for it to beat 10%, 15%. Like if we beat by, I don't know, by $1 billion, $2 billion, if we bid whatever, we're not gonna move in the direction. We're gonna stay flat or we're gonna drop maybe. But if we exceed the beat, we're gonna move way up. But that's like flipping a coin, trading earnings. So I don't really recommend that. If you have the size in your account to do it and you want the risk, you can do it. But if you don't have the size or the money, the spare money to trade earnings, it's not recommended. Remember, options have a high risk, high reward setup. So you want to get rewarded very high, you have to risk very high. Remember, option trading, stock trading, you measure it by risk. thankfully, the MarketSnack platform lets you understand some of the risk and understand where the money is going. We remember this is a platform that tells you, we give you intelligence, and you have to you have to infer at the end of the day, and you have to execute your trades. If you execute the trade, if you guess the direction, but you didn't have enough time on the contract, you're gonna lose money either way. You have to select good contracts, and you have to select good expirations with good strikes to be able to make money and survive in this market. So my honest recommendation, well, another recommendation, my honest opinion is that trading earnings is not for everyone, and you need to have a sizable account with access to liquidity to take the risk to trade an earning. So that was my little speech to end the live today. I hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of the day. Remember, free trial, learn.marketsnack.com. Hope to see you there. Any more questions, I will answer them on the Discord. See you guys later for those that will be on the class on Discord.